Hi, you will now learn about the defect process. It's an integral part of the test execution phase and essential to the required knowledge that helps you become a complete tester. Test managers hold regular defect meetings with the project team to track how many issues have been raised and to discuss the status of the defects. They can't do this if there is no defect process to track and count the issues. Let's look at a typical defect process. We will now build a defect process template. When you initially raise an issue or bug, it will have a status of new. This indicates that you have started to raise a defect but are not yet ready to decide which team or individual it should be assigned to. There could be different teams fixing code or maintaining the supporting infrastructure. When you know who will be responsible for the defect fix, update the status to Assigned to Fix Team. This means that the defect is now in a queue with the team that will address the issue. The team will triage the defect, and if they find it's not a problem, the status will now become Rejected. However, if they agree that there is a defect to address, the status will be changed to In Progress, meaning that it's now being looked at. When the developer is satisfied that the issue is resolved, the status can be changed to Fixed. At this point, a test manager would have visibility of how many fixes are available and can arrange for them to be promoted to the test environment at a suitable time. When the fix is applied in your test environment, the defect status becomes ready to retest. This is your cue to retest the defect. Some defect monitoring tools will send notifications when a defect is returned to you for a retest, or you will be asked to monitor your work queue for defects with this status. When you have completed your test, there are two possible outcomes: passed or failed. If you pass the test, we can change the status to Closed. However, if you still believe you have an issue, this can be discussed at a defect meeting and you may end up reassigning it to the fix team again. There are two other defect statuses to consider. First, Canceled. If your defect was rejected and you agree it was not an issue, it will be canceled. This is a final status and we can move on. However, if you still believe it is an issue, it could be reassigned to the fix team. The last status to consider is Deferred. It may be decided that a fix can be deferred to a future release. You will need to resurrect this defect for a retest when the time arrives, but this might take months. For this release, it will be ignored, and a temporary workaround can be communicated to business users. You may allow other status changes if you control the defect process on a tool like Jira, or another tool like Application Lifecycle Management, otherwise known as ALM. Allowable defect status changes are usually decided by the defect administration team or the test manager, and they could include reopening a defect by changing its status from Closed to New. You may also want to consider moving a defect from Deferred back to New, so it gets the defect back into the process at a later date. It's down to how each project wants to work, or whether a company imposes a process on all its projects. This defect management process is just one of many you will come across when working in different companies, or even in different test departments. They all follow the same basic pattern, and it's worth noting that any good defect process should design to enable managers and developers to prioritize fixes and monitor the number of outstanding issues. In the next lesson, we will look at how we report test progress during a test phase, starting with how you can report the progress of your test cases. I will see you there. Remember, all lessons are free, so please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It costs you nothing and allows me to keep creating free content for you.